This video is for the skinny guys. Some would even say the sticks of our society. We've been called railings long enough. We've been told that we look like a zipper when we stand sideways and stick out our tongues. We've been told for our entire lives that we have to run around in the shower to get wet. And now it's time for the oppression to end.
They will not crush us.
What's up guys, how's it going? And this is how I went, this video is how I went from 130 pounds to about 155 pounds and stayed lean. Okay, as far as I can remember, gaining weight or even maintaining the weight that I was currently at has been a struggle for me. And I always was in sports and stuff, so I was pretty active and I was just constantly burning calories, and I would eat whatever I wanted. I would go to In-N-Out and eat double doubles, eat donuts for breakfast, and I just could not put any weight on, and half the time couldn't even maintain my current weight that I was at. And obviously, like many of the skinny people that are maybe watching this video, I've been called skinny a lot, like by everyone, and you know, kind of was starting to get to me after a while. And the thing, when I first got into the fitness industry, the thing that I noticed is, it seemed like a majority, from what I noticed, of the content was geared towards weight loss, and I was on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I was trying to gain weight, and I honestly had no idea how to do that. Okay, well, I kind of had an idea. I knew I had to eat more, but I didn't know really the logistics of it, and I just really did not know what I was doing. So this video is just my journey on how I gained 25 pounds. Well, it's probably more like 30 pounds now because I'm beefing up a little bit, but the picture in the thumbnail, it's 25 pounds, so. All right, so I'm around 160 pounds right now. I was 155 in the thumbnail, but I am exactly 6 foot tall, okay? In case you guys were wondering, and I know 155 isn't that much for 6 foot tall, and I'm giving you advice on how to get big, but here's the thing. I've gotten a lot bigger. I used to be like, I'll throw up a picture. I used to be small. I've gotten a lot bigger than I was. My goal is, you know, somewhere between 170 and 180, lean, between 10 and 15% body fat. So yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing just because I've gained a lot of lean mass by doing this stuff. Okay, so the way I gained my lean weight is by doing two things. The two things is working out, but most importantly, eating, okay? If you're trying to gain weight, you need to eat more calories than you burn. I know, it's so complex, right? So complex. So the thing about this is you can only eat a certain amount more calories than you burn to stay lean. So here's an example. Let's say you eat 1,000 more calories than you burn off in a day. Every day, you're gonna gain majority fat. But if you eat, let's say, 200 to 500 more calories a day than you burn off, you are going to gain, most likely, more muscle than fat, assuming that you're working out every day. So the way I calculated how many calories my body burns throughout a day is not by going to a website to see my maintenance calories like a normal smart person would do, like a maintenance calorie calculator, which is what you should do. I thought that was too much work, and I basically for the past 2 years have decided to freeball it. And so I've come to a general conclusion of what my maintenance is. I don't know the exact number, but I can feel it out. Like when I'm eating food throughout the day, I can kind of feel like, oh, I need to eat a little more today because, you know, I'm feeling a little hungry today, or I need to eat, or I've eaten enough food today because I've been full all day. I can kind of feel it, and just feeling it out and freeballing it has actually been working for me like pretty nicely. So as you know, I experimented for a while. I was just, you know, eating different amounts of food, seeing how my body would respond. And I found that gaining 1 pound, half a pound to 1 pound a week was the best thing for me to gain lean weight. And the way I did this was by eating 3 meals a day and having 2 mass gainer protein shakes a day. Here's what I used. I drank 2 scoops of that a day with, you know, some milk. Sometimes I'd even throw in some peanut butter and stuff, but generally with just some like almond milk or something. And I found this is by far the best way to get your protein in throughout the day, to get your calories in throughout the day, and not only that, but to also get your micronutrients in throughout the day. To get your vitamin C, you know, your vitamin D, all the vitamins that you need. The best way to do it is just eating, you know, your regular 3 meals a day, including the fruits, the vegetables, everything in it. But those 2 mass gainer shakes are like life-changing, like life-saving. I cannot Cannot stress it enough that if you cannot eat a lot of food, to drink those. It's like, it's a game changer. And as far as the food that I was eating for every meal goes, I generally just try to get a good source of protein with every single meal and as many calories as I can basically get in without feeling like I'm gonna throw up. So a good lunch example would be, you know, some rice, some beans, some avocado, put it in a bowl, eat that, super good. Dinner, you know, maybe some tacos. That's a good source of protein, you know, with meat and beans and stuff. Or, you know, pork chops or chicken or just anything with a good source of protein and a decent amount of calories. Just eat that. You don't need to be on some crazy specific diet. I was never on some crazy specific diet. But breakfast has always been the hardest thing to get down for me. I don't know, I just have always had a weak stomach. Haven't been able to eat too much in the morning. So I'm gonna give you a great example of a breakfast that is not ginormous. It's not huge. I mean, it's, you know, you can eat it without feeling sick and it tastes super good and it has a good amount of calories, a lot of protein, and it's just gonna help you gain some weight. So here's that breakfast. Pause. I'm watching this and I realized if you guys are a little confused, you should try and eat around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I just thought I would clear that up because I keep saying how I eat high protein, but I didn't say how much I eat. I try and get around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for me, that'd be around 155 to 160 grams of protein per day. And it's pretty dang easy to get that in when you're drinking 2 mass gainer protein shakes a day and having 3 meals. Okay, so I'm gonna show you my super good breakfast that I make now. Bye. All I have left to do is cook the eggs. What are you looking for, Blake?
A bumblebee that lands on their plant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't see one.
All right, so we have an egg
Yeah.
and sausage bagel sandwich
Yeah.
with some hot sauce and some cheese on it.
Yeah.
And it is looking absolutely stunning. Think it looks good too? All right. Now, we're gonna go in for the first bite. That tastes bloody beautiful. All right, seriously though, super good, lean bulk meal. Highly recommend this for breakfast. It's one of those things that you're gonna be able to eat every day because you're not gonna get tired of it. Because you can do a lot of different variations of it too. Throw some bacon, throw some hot sauce or some ketchup, or switch out the type of bagel. That's good.
Hey. Hey, 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 hey.
Do you want to tell the camera what you thought about it? How did it taste? Good?
Why is it not taking a picture? Don't take it a video. Take it a picture.
Picture?
Yeah. A picture of their sandwich. Picture of the sandwich.
Okay, so quick recap on how I gained all my lean weight before we go on.
Why you turn the video on?
Quick recap before we get on to the next section, which is lifting. So for the diet, I ate kind of intuitively until I realized that, I guess I figured out that the best diet for me is 3 meals a day plus 2 mass gainer protein shakes. I started gaining about 1 pound every 1 to 2 weeks, and it's just been working for me. On to the lifting. Okay, so we've been over my diet that I did and that I'm still currently doing. Now, the next thing is lifting. So you gain the weight, right? You're gaining the weight, you're eating the food, you're eating 3 meals a day, you're eating the mass gainer shakes, you're doing everything right, but you want it to turn to muscle, right? And not turn to fat. Well, that's where the lifting comes in. So the single most important thing to do when you're lifting is to make sure that you are using progressive overload. I know that's a buzzword everyone uses. I'm gonna explain it super simply. Basically means each time you lift a little more than you did last time. And I know it's kind of hard to calculate how much you actually are lifting each time. It's like, I don't know, I'm weaker some days, I'm stronger some days. The best way to do this, from what I've seen, is just to go to go till failure, your very last set. If you go until failure, your very last set, you are basically bound to be going harder than last time, because assuming you're gaining weight, you're going to be getting stronger. So going to failure is going to take more reps, and you're going to be getting stronger. So I said to go to failure, your very last set, and that brings up the question, how many sets should you do? This honestly depends on the person, and I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, but I personally recommend 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, especially if you're first starting out. That's a super good range to go on. Basically almost everything from bench to squats to curls to, tricep stuff. Three sets of 8 to 12 is super good. And just make sure on that very last set you are going until failure, and that's how you use progressive overload. And the way that I got to where I am today, I'm almost twice as strong as I was when I very first started. The workout split that I used to get to where I am today is called push, pull, legs. I'm not currently doing that one because I got kind of bored of it, and I'm doing a different one, but I highly recommend, if you're a beginner, doing push, pull, legs, and I'm going to explain that now. Okay, so pushing the weight is anything that works your chest, your shoulders, or your tricep. Pulling the weight is anything that works your back or your bicep, and then legs is obviously legs. So the way that this split works is you do pushing motions on day 1, pulling motions on day 2, legs on day 3, and then on day 4 you use it as a rest day. Maybe do some extra cardio, maybe do some abs. So the exercises that you're going to want to be doing on the first day, which is the push day, is I recommend 3 exercises per muscle group. That's just my recommendation. Don't take everything I say with a grain of salt. Obviously, I'm no fitness expert. I'm not even an adult technically. I highly recommend the 3 exercises you do for your chest. One of them is bench press, and then one of them is an incline movement, like incline bench, incline flies, something to work more of your upper chest. And then the third one is maybe something to work a little more of your lower chest, maybe like some dips or some decline bench press or something. And then for the shoulders, today I'm going to be working my legs and shoulders, but my shoulders kind of bad. Like I have something wrong with my rotator cuff. But for shoulder exercises, I recommend, for the 3, I recommend your first set being something along the lines of pushing weight up. So maybe you have 2 dumbbells, maybe you're pushing them up. Maybe you have the barbell and you're pushing it up. Just anything where you're straight up and you're pushing the weight up, that's going to work your shoulders. The second exercise for your shoulders I recommend you do on push day is definitely these. You got to do these, like do these flies or whatever these are called, arm raise flies things. But that's going to work this part of your shoulder. It's going to make you have more broad shoulders. I know I don't have super broad shoulders because I can't go heavy on that because my shoulders are screwed up. And then the third one, I recommend something to hit more the back of your shoulder. So probably, some seated flies, like this. We got chest covered, we have shoulders covered, and the last thing you're gonna want to be doing on push day is triceps. Now, my favorite exercise for triceps is actually this over here. You're basically just gonna want to, go down with it like that. Make sure you keep your back straight and you go all the way down. I recommend doing that as your, whoa, camera's gonna fall. I recommend you do that as your first tricep exercise. And as the second tricep exercise, you can tricep is more free reign. You can kind of do what you want. I just recommend getting 3 exercises in there. You can do maybe dumbbell kickbacks or, over your head, or skull crushers, or, there's a lot of different things you can do for triceps. I'm sure you could figure it out or look something up. So yeah, that is push day, which is day 1, which is chest, shoulders, triceps, 3 exercises. I recommend 3 sets. Probably do some warm-up sets, especially before bench press, and obviously stretch. Don't be an idiot. Drink water. And yeah, 3 sets of 8 to 12 for everything. And make sure your last set, or your last rep of each final set, you go until failure. And the second day of this split is pull day, which is back, biceps. Back, you can do pull-ups and call it a day. You can do pull downs. You can do seated pulling rows like that. You could do this over here. Hold on. You have the weight and you pull it towards you. There's a lot of different stuff you could do for back. just like I said, I personally recommend doing 3 exercises per muscle group. And then for biceps, any type of curl is really all you can do. I personally do each. You have the short head and the long head on your bicep. So I usually do one that works the shorter head, one that works the longer head. Whether it's incline curls like this, where you sit down in the chair and do them, hammer curls or reverse curls where you go like that, or just do 3 different types of curls, 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Make sure your last set's till failure, and your biceps they're gonna grow. Make sure you use good form too. And also on pull day, this is optional, but I personally want to grow my forearms. Like, that's just kind of like one of those muscles that I want to get strong. I do forearm workouts on my bicep day as well. Forearm workouts really is you just kind of take a bar and then any type of motion really where you're squeezing like that, where you squeeze the weight up. Any form of that motion is absolutely going to destroy your forearms. Or you could do, instead of doing curls, you could have your hands this way and you could curl upwards. It's a great forearm workout. Okay, so you have I almost got attacked by a bee. You have your chest day, you got that figured out. You have your back and bicep day, your pull day, you got that figured out. And the last day is legs. Here's the thing about leg day. I hate leg day. Today is leg day. I don't want to do leg day today. What I do on leg day is squats, and then I do leg extensions, seated leg extensions, where you're sitting down and you go up, up, up with the weight. So I recommend doing those 2, and then I also recommend adding some lunges in there, maybe some leg press. I have an at-home gym, so I don't have a leg press machine. You know, three exercises for your legs is gonna do it. I recommend doing some squats. Squats needs to be one of them. Like, you need to do squats, and then do one that works front, that, your quads, and then one that works your hamstrings / glutes, and you should be good for legs. And that brings us to the 4th day, which if you didn't work your calves, I recommend working your calves on the 4th day, which is the rest day. So you don't have skinny calves like that. You could work maybe your traps or whatever those are called. Abs, I definitely recommend working your abs. People say not to work your abs. Work your core, trust me. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. So quick recap. I recommend the push-pull leg split, which is chest, shoulders, triceps on day 1, back and biceps on day 2, and forearms, you can include forearms. Day 3, legs. Day 4, rest / maybe abs, calves, traps. 3 workouts per muscle group, doing 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, and making sure that your last rep of each final set of a specific workout you fail on. You go until failure, so that you are implementing progressive overload. Okay, so that is how I went from 130 pounds to 155, or maybe even 160 pounds. Just a little overall, my overall thoughts here, my main points that I want you to focus on. I figured out how much food I should eat in a day by basically experimenting and figuring out how I gain 1 pound every 1 to 2 weeks. And I figured that was 3 meals plus 2 protein shakes every day. And yeah, I've just been doing that every day, and then I've been doing my workouts with progressive overload, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else is make sure you sleep, make sure that you're including fruits and vegetables and healthy things and vitamins and supplements into your diet, because you don't want to just go heavy bulking on bad food. And drink a lot of water. Don't forget to breathe oxygen. Donate to charity. Just be a good person, and God will bless you with gains. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.